Howdy y'all, thank you for joining us today for this unboxing of Catan Starfarers. This is actually a reprint. I want to say almost a 20-year-old reprint. So I couldn't remember what it was that made me not really want to play Catan, the base game, or when it was called Settlers of Catan anymore. And then after playing this, I realized that was what it was. So I had to go out and go get myself another one, even though I had the original. As you can see, it's got the grid look like that you're used to if you played Catan, but there's no more building roads anymore. It just kind of goes to you kind of move ships around, and each of the ships do something different. If you played the old Starships of Catan, or maybe it may have been called Catan Starships, it basically is going to have a lot of that feel just without the map. So, I mean, except this adds the map basically. And then as you can see, components and stuff like that, still got the number grids. You can kind of see here, it talks about the player bases, the ages, and then let you kind of know how much of it's luck, how much of it's strategy. The exploration adventure, I'll kind of show y'all as we are going through the unboxing. But yep, and then you can see here all the components. All right, let's get right into it. Big box, so sorry. Get all the plastic off and then we'll get it laid down here on camera. We'll stay zoomed out as long as we're doing the actual what's inside the box. Once we decide to show you the cards and kind of give some explanations on those, we'll zoom in a little bit. All right, let's get this big box open. So right off the bat, we have some trays. This is going to be trays for the resources, and you can see the 3-to-1 resources, the 2-to-1 resources. And then one thing that I remember this one added in that was kind of like a catch-up mechanic is, depending on where you're at victory point-wise, you get some random resources, whether they're rolled or not, at the beginning of each of your turn. So that was one nice addition I remembered once we started playing again that was really cool. And then just more trays for your cards and your pieces and whatnot. All right, we got the rule book here. Typical thing, let you know straight off the rules. Table of contents here. Rules, table of contents, preparation. Let you know the game overview, let you know the resources in contingent with the planets. All still preparation and setup. Just letting you know and get you ready for the game. And then it just gives you gameplay at a glance, how the production phase works. So like I said, a lot of this, if you play Catan, you're gonna recognize a lot of this. The only difference is gonna be these rockets that they have, and it's gonna tell you how to build those and what you'll be doing with those. And we'll see all those pieces as we open through this. So this is one of the cases where I've already seen the inside of this. I have the original, and then I watched someone else open theirs, replayed it, brought back everything, and maybe just instantly go out and go get my own copy. This is something you could tell because basically what ended up happening was Catan ended up getting bought by Asmodee. And so Asmodee has this nice thing where they have like a, hey, this is how you play rule book. And then they have like a reference guide that basically gives you a more in-depth and closer look at the rules. And that's kind of what they did here, kind of following the same trend, where it's basically just a faster way of looking up stuff and goes, like I said, more in depth in the rules. It's alphabetical, and just this is going to get you straight to playing immediately, but then that will arise some questions and you can go just look them up real quickly. So I like this edition, especially for someone like me who doesn't like reading the rule books. I used to in the old days. I guess just playing so many games just got it to where I just get bogged down in the rules. So something that gets me straight into the play and then goes straight after I get straight into the play and can look up anything that arises as a question or whatnot. All right. So we have some punch boards here. Normally I'll put these aside, but we'll go ahead and go through them real fast. There shouldn't be too many of them. So right off the bat, you're going to see when I bring the board out, the board's going to have some segments. Like the base board on the first part where you start at is going to be pretty much the same, but later down the board, it's literally going to have spots where you randomly going to have these face down, and once you get over there, you're going to flip them over, and that's going to tell you what's actually out there. What these are the actual, there's some alien races that you can make trade agreements with, and if you build one of your buildings on these, it's going to let you basically now get a special ability from one of these aliens, whether it be every time you get this resource you get another one, or get a better trade rate with a certain resource. So this is a real cool addition. And then of course, since you're exploring out in space, there's a lot of blank space out there in space. These are going to be random out there. They're going to be pirates that you will be fighting, and it just tells you the level of how strong they are. And we'll get into how that kind of works a little bit without going into detail. And then also in this game, because of certain random scenarios and action or encounters you can run into, you may get half of a fame point. And then when you get the other half, now you get a full point. So another way of getting victory points in the game. All right, so you got the alien races here. On top of the alien races, you have your planets. So just like on the board where I was talking about, you're going to explore out. And then when you move a ship to one of these sectors, they'll flip over and show you these other planets, more of the victory point things, the fame points, if I remember what they're called, I think. These are trade pods. We'll get into that. And I'll definitely have to make a how to play here. I'm mainly super opening this because I just really wanted to basically play it this weekend. After playing it once, I definitely want to get right back into it. Because like I said, I remember all the fun I had playing it when I got the original almost 20 years ago. I want to say it was 20 years ago. It's been a while. I know, I'm old. All right, so this is the board. And this is why it says it's a modular board, is because it does have you put the board together. I think it's modular because of, so you can see the board's definitely going to piece together in a certain way. And you can see that these sectors are going to be popped out so that you can put the random sector into the board like such. And it fits kind of loosely, but that's a good thing because you don't want it to sit there and click in and have to tear up your cardboard every time you're taking the board apart. And then of course, what you should recognize is the numbers. I'm just going to punch those out. And this is so that what's going to happen is you can notice these backs correspond with some of these planets. As far as, did I get one of them? I didn't. Let me pop this out. All right, so you can see, these are going to be, so it tries to make sure that you're going to have all those, mix them up, and you're going to put all this symbol on these symbols of planets. That way you kind of make sure that the numbers are kind of balanced. But yep, so you'll pop all these out, and those will give you the sectors that you'll explore to far in the distance. And then you also have your victory points. And then it's just like I was saying, depending on where you're at victory point wise, is a resource. I know I got it upside down. Let me put it the right way. Depending on where you're at victory point wise, you get to get a free card of a random resource. And that's pretty cool because it makes it to where, man, it's a dice game that has a lot of luck factor to it. So if your numbers aren't getting rolled, you're not getting the resources that you need to get. These guys be thrown away. There's no reason to keep them. They were just an easy way of doing another punch board and having your numbers. And you can see on here, more of the numbers, more of the symbols. And then this is just the whole board with more of the punch boards, going all the way up to 15 victory points. And then as you can see, your starting spots do not punch out because in this game, it's gonna tell you where you start, so to make sure that everybody starts balanced and it's not just a choosing issue. All right. What components to go into next? We'll get rid of the easy ones. All right, we got the baggies. Extra baggies are always good for putting stuff in. We got some cards that we'll go through. These are the encounter cards for the most part. And this is, to me, a lot of the fun part of the game that I enjoy more. Standees for the alien races. We've got pieces. You're going to have your space bases, which, like I said, all this will be in the thing. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. We'll probably definitely try to get some playthroughs on the channel, or even do a how to play. You're going to have your different rocket ships that you can build. These are all things you're going to be able to build over time to get you your victory points, just like in Catan, or Catan, however you want to say it. I say Catan. All right, and you just got your player colors so you can see. You got yellow, red, blue, white. And there is an expansion for 5 to 6 players. I did a video on it already. I'll make sure to link that below. The dice. All right, so let's get into more of these plastic pieces. And actually, I'll come back to these plastic pieces because I'm going to show y'all these first. And they're going to have to do with the plastic pieces, basically. All right, we got stickers. It'll make sense on what they are going to be about. A lot of them are for your rockets and stuff like that. We got more cards. These are probably the resource cards you should be used to from Catan. They're just looking different because they're using space resources. All right, so one of the big differences in this game is you get this little rocket. I know what it looks like. Sorry. But you get this rocket, and what you're going to do is this is going to be kind of like your player board you're going to be piecing together. So you're going to get this rocket, and right off the bat, we're going to go into one of the pieces that is over here. You got these little plastic balls here. These are going to be doing something on your turn. So I'm not divvying these out. They're going to be divvied out in a proper portion. I'm just going to throw them in here just to show you kind of what you're going to be doing on your turn. So basically, on the right, this closes in. You'll never, once you build these, you'll never take the things back out. But when it's your turn, you're going to mix up ship in there. And when you do, it's going to drop these down. And yeah, it's probably just doing some weird colors because I didn't make sure it's balanced. But it's going to show you 2 of the balls. And because of that, that's going to have you do certain things. Like it's either going to help your movement, or in the case of the black ball, it's going to give you an encounter. You have to now do an encounter, and you'll go through that with one of the players will draw an encounter card, and that'll be the encounter that you encounter. So that's one cool thing. So each person's going to have a rocket that does that. And then these are the pieces that are going to add on to the rocket to let you know what you have. So in this case, you can buy lasers for your rocket, and this helps you defeat those pirates I was talking about. Like you're going to need a certain amount of lasers to make sure that you can defeat a pirate and get you some victory points. Or this is going to be boosters. These boosters give you extra movement on the board the more you build. So like normally in Catan, you would build a road with 2 of brick. In this one, you're going to use 2 of the red resource, and it lets you build one of these boosters on one of your ships, or on your rocket ship here. It'll click onto here, and then now all of your spaceships that move on the board move with an extra movement. So that's really cool. And then this has to do with the alien races. These will go on the side of the rocket here, and for every one of these, you're able to get another ability by building a building on basically making a friendship with the aliens, an allyship. Okay, so that's everything there. Let's go through the cards real fast. All right, so we zoomed in so we can give you a better look at the cards. Here we go. We'll go with the easy ones first, the resource cards, because these should just all be a bunch of them that just look the same. It'll tell you how to set up the resource cards for that random deck at the beginning of each game. But this is one of the resources. This is the blue resource. I don't remember the names. The red resources. The yellow resources. I'm pretty sure these were trade goods, but it's another resource. Or if I remember right, it may not be another resource. It was, you could use them for something different. And then we got a green resource. All right, so this is the part of the game I really enjoy more. And to me, that felt more like a complete game, to where it just didn't feel like the same old, same old. Or at least most of these are going to be it. I'm sure the rest of it's going to be player powers, or not player powers, but player cards and whatnot. So let me get these separated out, and then we'll show you everything. So right off the bat here, these are the alien races. You'll notice that these correspond with, let me see if I can find the right one. Like this is the ship. So this is saying that alien race. These are all the different cards that could be with that alien race. It's the Rana. But like this will be showing up that, hey, you went to this alien race, so now you get this a helping hand, or you get a galactic relief fund, or reduced tribute, or a fame for sale. So, and then they got those for each race. Like here's the Orzels. Let you have a 2-to-1 trade on that. The Zuzo. Or maybe these are the names of the aliens, actually. Hey, I think from the original, I think I could be remembering wrong. I have slept since then. I thought it just had the name of the alien race, and I guess I just didn't notice on here that they did. Yep, they do have different names. So these are the names of this is the friendship you're making with that alien, so you get that ability. That's pretty cool. It even gets me more invested into this. But yeah, you can see all the different abilities you get here. This says every time you get one of those, you get an additional one because he's friends with you. So these guys seem to add more. You get more resources. This gives you extra, basically in this case, you get an extra movement and an extra blaster is considered it. So that's pretty cool. So these guys give you extra stuff on your ship for your components. Pretty cool. All right, then you just got the player cards, which is nice. They got a nice little mural here. You hand each person this, which makes the picture that was on the front of the game. If I can get it all in camera here. But I still didn't get it on camera. I get it on camera here. So pretty cool. All right. And this just shows you the stuff that you need to know. Like this is how you get victory points and what they're worth. Just showing you the zoom in of that, and there's nothing else on the bottom. What resources it takes to build. What things you need to, build. What you need: a trade ship, a colony ship, a spaceport, a freight pod. Like I said, that extra movement. And then the resources and what they're actually called. So we got ore, fuel, carbon, food, and goods. And then the turn overview. And this is where I was talking about where you need to know what each ball does on there. So I'll let you know what you do in step order. Then you shake your ship, shake your mothership. And if the black comes up, you go do an encounter, which we're going to go through those cards quickly here. I'm not going to show every of them, but I'm going to show how they work. And then these let you know what they add to your thing, movement-wise, and then what the value of the ball that is showing does. So, all right. So like this would be an encounter, and if you hit the black ball shaking your mothership, then what's going to end up happening is the player to your left or right, I don't remember which one it is, will take one of these cards randomly, and they're going to just read this top part to you. And it's going to tell you to make a suggestion. Like in this one, you encounter a merchant, offer 03 resources as a gift, pay your offering to the supply before continuing. So you encounter the merchant, you're going to say how many resources you're giving them. And then dependent on how many resources you give them is the reaction that you're going to get. So to me, that's pretty cool because you don't know what you're doing. I know in one game we did where I gave someone, it said somebody was out of gas. I gave them some fuel, and because I gave them some fuel, they ended up being a prince, and they gave me a half of a fame point. They gave me one of these, so I was closer to getting those victory points. Then one of the other players encountered, he thought the same scenario, so he gave them fuel, but then it turned out it was a space pirate, and the space pirate decided to attack them, so they had to see how many lasers they had, and that's the space pirates here. So they had to see how many lasers they had to see if they could defeat them. So there's all types of encounters, and that's pretty cool to me to have that added into a game. But, yep. So either way, that is Catan Starfarers. We're definitely going to get this sleeved up, get it to the table. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.